As any longtime Pokemon fan knows, people tend to agree that the DS games were the pinnacle of Pokemon. Even for me, Black 2 and White 2 are my 5th favorite games of all time. But after the year was over and when we moved to the 3DS era, X and Y wasn't the next step from that DS era. Then after that was a slow downfall. For me, I did enjoy X and Y, Sun and Moon, heck, Generation 7 is my absolute favorite when it comes to competitive Pokemon. But when the Switch came around and Sword and Shield was announced, I started to feel wary. I didn't mind the Pokemon or the characters at all, but from a mechanic standpoint where some Pokemon were out in the open and some were not, it felt off for me. And Dynamaxing looked very weird as a gimmick coming straight off the Megas and the Z moves, with the story feeling linear and the DLC just feeling lackluster to me. Besides Urshifu, Game Freak, what the heck were you thinking about by making this Pokemon? It's a freaking competitive menace. Luckily, I did enjoy Scarlet and Violet, but not to the extent of me fully loving Pokemon again. Instead, I started to feel my love for Pokemon waning, and that scared me. Because when that starts to happen, I feel like there's two kinds of people that results into either A, the pessimistic route where everything about the games are always bad no matter what quality it is, just being rap snitch knishes, or B, the cynical route where the old games are the best no matter what they make now, that'll never match the peak of Gen 5 blah blah blah, one beer, they say, and just being nostalgic old men. I know some people in my life told me that when they feel like that or just have a Pokemon kick, they would always turn to ROM hacks, and while I do think that's a good alternative, I didn't want to go that route because I didn't really want to play a Pokemon game on my PC or phone, and trying to finagle my modded 3DS into playing these was off the table because, well, I'm lazy and I just didn't want to do that. So, while experiencing this existential dread and reorganizing my shelves, I found this. I stole this card off my cousin when I was around 7. Don't ask me why, Eradicate, but I took it. And because I found this card again, it made me think, oh yeah, Pokemon cards are a thing. Are they still super expensive? And to my surprise, and show on later, Pokemon cards aren't that super expensive. So I went to my local store, bought a Silver Tempest Elite Trainer box, and thus, my fate of hating Pokemon started to fade away. Around the time I opened the ETB was when the base set of Scarlet and Violet was beginning to release, with it being the turning point in the TCG from switching its yellow borders to its now silver ones, and as I said before that I enjoy those games and all of its utter hoe cakes quality, I figured now would be a good time to start collecting. So I got some more cards in this set, and the first card that made me dazzled in this set was this card. This little deep fried friends was the box art of the legendary I love. Just a guy whose alternative name was the Winged King feels a lot more creative than Rhydon to me. Being pumped about this pull and staring at this card in awe alongside my other pulls, I started to do something that no other person does. I started reading the cards.
Go on.
What is an ability? Would this one be overpowered because it ends its turn after it's used? Is that a big attack? What do trainers do? How are they played? What is this TCG? For anyone who doesn't know me, growing up, me and my cousins would hang around eating cookies and beef wraps and playing games, specifically competitive games. From Melee to Street Fighter 3 to even Mario Kart and even less competitive stuff like Pokemon Showdown, Halo, Uno, you name it. We probably went in and strategized over it and got uncomfortably good at it. Of course, since time is an illusion that helps things make sense and life, we don't do that much anymore, but my drive for PvP always stayed with me. However, while I can't scratch that itch like a fig leaf by Carpenter with online stuff, I missed being around other people physically. So with me unlocking the ability that no other Yu-Gi-Oh player has managed to unlock, I made a very gumbo deck with pointers on deck building from videos, discovered a place that hold locals and went off my merry way, and everything that I was expecting was completely blown away. While I did do horribly with the objectively bad deck, the people there were excited for me to try out the game and gave me a lot of much needed pointers on how this TCG works, and resources like sites to check out, people to follow, and tournaments to watch. It was a feeling that I completely forgot about. Theory, test, refined execution is a poo-putt platter of what my cousins taught me, and nothing perfectly embodies that sweet Guinness brew than the set release of Obsidian Flames. While bumbling around with a few decks just figuring out how sequencing works, as in what to play in at the moment, Obsidian Flames was announced and two cards caught my attention: the Pidgeot and the Infernal Rain Charizard. Essentially what these two cards do is with Charizard, as soon as you evolve into it, you can search your deck up to 3 fire energies and place them wherever you like on your Pokemon. That, with an attack cost of only 2, you can easily set up a chain into evolve, place 2 down on your Zard, and on 1 on your Charmander just to set up, or an in-case scenario with one of your other Pokemon in case you need to retreat it. That paired with Pidgeot, which just searches any card in the deck, you're probably thinking, okay, Charizard has 330 HP and 180 attack. What's so special about it? Well, if you also unlock the ability of reading the fine print, the attack gets another plus 30 for each prize card taken, which translates to, if your opponent knocks out your active Pokemon and takes a prize card, needing 6 to win the game, your Charizard deals another 30, and in the game where a lot of the meta Pokemon at the time, HP peaked at 230 through 280, which also deals an attack around the same amount of damage, this kind of just snowballs Charizard into becoming an unkillable machine with other Pokemon to help you set up. You can just effectively set up a Charizard and a Pidgeot together around your second turn, which at the time was insane. No matter what other decks were out there, Charizard will just show up, start doing the Dempsey roll in front of your opponent, and start vomit spitting all over them. So, pulling everything I needed from Obsidian Flames and pulling the Chaser card from this set, I went to work, made a list that was pretty decent, and immediately started going undefeated at my locals. But after more sets came out and Ogerpon hitting for a weakness, which kind of does like almost 360 damage on your Charizard, yeah, Charizard isn't as conqueso as it started out. But it still holds on with its new tools like Duskull doing rituals and Briar causing insane comebacks for you at the end of the game. There are other decks out there that I do like to play like T and Turtle, but what I wanted to convey here is all this TCG stuff fully reignited my love for Pokemon. While finally scratching that itch for competition, not only did it make me appreciate other Pokemon since they actually have a bigger influence in the TCG than VGC, but Barrel, I'm looking at you, you stupid con carne, but socializing with new people who share the same interests as me and making real great friends along the way was very much needed ever since the pandemic hit. So finally opening up to more stuff like the TCG and collecting cards was the fresh air that I needed. And because of me collecting for over a little 2 years, I want to show you passengers a bit of my collection. Okay, here is the other setup. People might not be familiar with this unless you're from my Gunpla video, which you can see from my Soletta in the background that I sometimes use this for IRL stuff. This is kind of a very temporary, moderately set up. If I find anything better or better equipment for me to do, then I'll do it, but yeah, I'll get right into it. Okay, so I wanted to start off with representing 4 other TCGs, well, technically 3 because Raticate, you obviously know the story about my Raticate. But with the other ones, you know, for instance, One Piece, it's another card game that I started playing and I started really enjoying it. I actually might prefer it more than One Piece. Dai, you probably guys know that as a K exclusive with all of his Dragon Quest coverage, but for me, I discovered the TCG. I don't play it, but the cards are really good. For instance, I like this Leona card, which you had to raise up the leaf or feather. And the last one, Miku, because obviously Hatsune Miku, why wouldn't I start collecting Hatsune Miku? And yeah, so that's pretty much it for these 4, and I want to get into the other ones coming up right now. So with these 4, I just wanted to show people what Pokemon does with the rares and the different types of variants that they do with the Pokemon. Like for instance, you could tell from the Latias and the Diancie that they are in completely different environments. While the Diancie is focusing on something in the center, Latias is being caught by clothes in buildings and trying to be confused and curious of what she's being caught by, just generally confused in her environment. And for instance with Chiyu, one of my personal favorite cards that they came out with, you can tell that it's in an environment in itself. It's glowing in the middle, but they also have the sunlight coming in from the background, just focusing on the center. It's honestly such a beautiful card, but sometimes they like to play it safe, some very cutesy stuff, like for instance you can see with the Bulbasaur that just recently came out. You can tell it's in a house, it's comfy, surrounded by plants and Pidgeys, and yeah, just a very, very comfy card to look at, like what they always do with the starter Pokemon. except for Charmander, which, god, I really should have brought it with me, but I'll show it on screen of what they did with it. It's, it's kind of uplifting of how what they made with it, being like, oh, I'm in a pit, and I'm climbing out of it, and now I'm soaring through the air and the sky, and I'm such a cool card. And yeah, that's what I kind of like about the TCG. But as I said before, as you can tell with these 4 cards, they're done by different artists. And sometimes Pokemon likes to hire an artist to do one card back to back to back that has multiple variants. Like for instance, these 4 Ogerpons. You can easily tell that they're done by the same artist, but you can tell from their different attacks and their different names that they're each different cards that do different things. I honestly got really lucky with these, pulling the green one and the blue one, and I traded the red one and the gray one with some of my friends. I'm really happy with all these cards, especially how the artist does Ogerpon. It's incredibly cool what they did with their art style and how they represented this Pokemon. Yeah, I believe the artist, actually I can tell what the artist is by looking at the corner, is Yano Kaiji. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names and I'm bad at pronouncing names. But yeah, you can tell that they hire a person to do one of these Pokemon 4 different times. But sometimes they like to give that treatment with evolutionaries, like for instance, the Tinkaton line. You can tell that in the background that she's in a cave, worrying, getting confidence, and then having a big giant hammer. In the TCG, the beginning, when this Pokemon was released, was absolutely insane. What you had to do was pair it with a Kirlia and a Gardevoir that was pretty much your drawing engine, which was like kind of like milling out your cards and getting them into your hand. And then the first attack, Big Hammer, is what it does is for each card in your hand, multiply that by 3, and that's how much you're doing. So what you would want to do is immediately start drawing your hand completely just to get your deck on low. And then you just be like, okay, let me count my cards for a couple of seconds, and alright, I'm going to be doing 570 damage, and your opponent would be like, what? Yeah, 570 damage, I just kept on drawing. God, this card was such fun to play with, but in the most recent times, it's kind of started falling off. But more cards have been being released that helps you draw more, so I'm kind of excited to see what this card does in the future. And with another story cards that are absolutely lovely to begin with, the whole entire Poltergeist line. I love what they did with these cards. You can see with the Poltergeist that it's a kid discovering this Pokemon while looking through memories, and then with the Sinistcha, the kid's now an old man. Sinistcha is looking at him, being curious, and you can see the mochi that's on the book, which you can tell from the first card, that's the original book, and oh my god, it's so cool and so sweet. I just love these cards. But with these cards, you can tell that Pokemon also likes to include people in them. So with the next batch of cards, I want to show you guys what they do with Pokemon and a person with them. So with these 4, I just wanted to show people that, yeah, they include people with Pokemon. When Hisuian came out, they also made a set release with that too. You can tell that with the Arcanine and the Pikachu having the protagonists that are just so adorable. And for Alcremie, Alcremie is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I had to include that one. Such a cute card, showing it with a deli with an old man. And the last one that I absolutely adore that I got with trading off of one of my friends is a Superior card, Black and White 2, female protagonist. Adorable card. You can tell that they have the mountain in the background with the Superior, them walking together, just having a chit chat, having a good time. So yeah, with Pokemon and people and the trainer category, trainers, they do trainers differently. With the 4 I'm going to show you, as you can see right now, they have them as like a full body person. With the normal ones, they kind of have them like with a small little background. It's kind of basic, as you can tell, but with a step up of the rarity, they have them in the full background with different environments just to represent how they are as a person. And with that, they do it with a one step above with the full arts. So here are the full arts, or secret rares, or what I like to call them, illustration rares. They do them entirely different, but sometimes they also come out with different ones. For instance, the Arven that I have right now is from a different set, but they have multiple ones, and Penny is the first set release of Scarlet and Violet, but they made a recent one that has a different type of style, different type of place. And Lacey just recently came out, but Lady is an old card, and what they used to do with old cards is that they would have the card, you know, the rarity card, and then they would make it a secret rare, and they would just rainbow it. They did that with multiple Pokemon. For instance, I think Alola Vulpix comes to mind for me, and I believe Lugia V-Star, and also, god, what's another one that I can think of on the spot? Palkia V-Star as well, but sometimes they also go all out with those cards. Like for instance, Palkia V-Star that I just showed on screen, they give it a giant glow up and is such a great card. If people don't like Palkia or just any Pokemon in general, look at the TCG. They have very cool art of them, and they might change your opinion about how the Pokemon goes. However, there's also one thing that I do want to talk about, and that is quote-unquote expensiveness. So while Lacey's going to stay here, I'm going to switch her out and I'm going to play a guessing game with you guys to show you that sometimes cards can be very deceiving in what they're priced. So here are 4 cards that look expensive, probably can be expensive of how you buy them, but ultimately very cheap if you just wait. For instance, Charizard EX and Lacey. I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds for you to guess the prices of what they are. And spoilers, they're, out of all 4 of them, they're kinda up there. Alright, now that you guys probably have a price range for the Charizard and the Lacey, I'm going to start off with Lacey. If you guys guessed around 100, 120, 130, you would be absolutely right if you bought that card when it was immediately released. Right now, while yes, it is a very adorable card, and it can be considered a quote-unquote waifu card because it's a fan favorite character, she's 40 bucks. And that's not like the only one that goes for trainer cards as well. If you like Iono or Nimona, they're very cheap right now. So if you want to pick one up, you can. But for Charizard, well, as you can see, it's kind of cool, you know, it has it being shiny and all that stuff. If you guessed around 200 bucks, you would be absolutely right if this card didn't plummeted and downfall like no other card has ever been before. When Charizard was released, Obsidian Flames was considered a very mediocre set, because at the time, the only 2 cards that were quote-unquote playable was Charizard and Pidgeot. And in the beginning, those 2 cards were like soaring. They were like 100, 200 bucks, possibly even 300 bucks. But with the newer set releases coming out, with different types of Charmanders, Charmeleons, and Charizard coming out, for instance, Charizard, this one specifically, is like 40 bucks. If you were to get the shiny variant that came in Paldea Fates, that one's obviously 100 bucks, because it recently came out and shiny is very, well, shiny. And for the other 2, Leafeon and the Teal'c Ogerpon, I brought back the Teal'c Ogerpon because, yes, right now it is 30 bucks, and that while that card is beautiful, if you're a person who plays the TCG like me, and if you need 4 of these to play them in your Raging Bolt deck, that's already 120 bucks, which is kinda yikes for me, and I personally don't like playing Raging Bolt, so I'm just happy with the one card I have. However, Leafeon V-Star. I brought this card out specifically for the art. Such amazing art. Leafeon is one of my favorite evolutions right next to Espeon. I'm just gonna pull the band-aid immediately. It's only a $20 card. While yes, it's such beautiful art, and honestly if you thought, oh, it's pretty, therefore it's up there, it's kind of not. A lot of cards out there that I've just presented right now is lower than 50 bucks, except I believe one, but I'll have to double check the price point of that one. And here's one thing that I really do want to clear up. Pokemon cards are very inexpensive, especially if you're just like a casual and you just want to have one card just to be like, oh, you know, this is my favorite Pokemon, I'm gonna buy it. You can easily find a card that's very cool and not super expensive. So with these price range, I can tell you a very easy life hack that you can use now. If you have a friend who's into Pokemon and their birthday's coming up and you just don't know what to get them, but if you know what favorite gen they have or what their favorite Pokemon is, you can just easily go to a store or go to a card store, find the Pokemon that they like, or, you know, starter or whatever, put that in there with a birthday card, and they'll be like, oh my god, wow, thank you so much. And in the back of your head is like, I got them a very easy present that probably costed like $5. They're happy, I'm happy, wonderful day. So with that, I'm going to transition back to the normal way of like doing videos, and yeah. Now with that out of the way, I hope that I showed you what the Pokemon TCG is. While it is mostly known for its cool looking cards and its insanely high prices, there's also a community there, as well as in one day I hope it can get as big as a VGC. Cause while it is easier for content creators to make content with the games, I feel like there's an untapped potential with the TCG for them to make banger videos for and show people how fun this card game can be. Slime Station is a channel created by friends in hopes of finding people who share the same interests as we do. If this video has piqued your interest into getting into the TCG, I'll make sure to leave resources down in the description on where you can find locals and competitive decks so that your start won't be as potholders as my start. This has been Lounge waiting at Slime Station, and to show my insanity to the world, here's some gameplay of me playing the TCG. Okay, so I just woke up, did my morning workout, then I just realized, ah crap, I just said that I have to play some TCG Live at the end of the video. So here I am, here's my Trapagos. This is the turtle I was mentioning earlier. I set up, get buffaloes, take less damage, start doing my thing, and yeah, I'm gonna start playing now. My goal is, if I can get one win, I'm good. And I'll try to make this speedy as I can for me and also for the editing style, because while TCG Live is okay, it's definitely really slow, and I hate it and it sucks. But this is really good to get practice in, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go first because Trapagos likes going first. Oh, this is not a first hand. Hopefully my opponent sets up. Dude, if this is an AFK guy, I'm going to win. Please. Oh, damn it. Okay. Alright, I'm good. We're living. Actually. Boom. Alright, so here's gonna be some Yu-Gi-Oh setup right now. I'm gonna place this down to get my bench bigger because it works on Terra Pokemon. And my Trapagos is a Terra. So I'm gonna Fan Road them right here. Fan Road makes me draw any 3 colors Pokemon. Yeah. Place this down. I will place this turtle down as well. And I'll enter. Alright. Lord, please, I swear to God, I don't want to be here for like hours on end and make a bunch of edits. Please. Please, Lord. Okay, not bad. Duskull! Oh no. 2 Buddy Play Puffs in a row? I hate this guy. No Pidgey though. That's weird. I'm gonna show people how this works. Noctowl, Jewel Seeker, I can draw any 2 trainer cards I can. These are trainer cards, and trainer cards also work as items, and as well as stadiums and equipables. So what I'm gonna do here is I want to get my Pidgeot up, so I'm gonna grab a rare candy. Do I need Hero's Cape? Yeah, I'm just gonna grab Candy Hero's Cape. Feather Ball, searches for non-retreat Pokemon. This is a non-retreat Pokemon. As in that it has 0 retreat cost. So I'm gonna just rare candy. Well, it's stage 2. Place that down. I want to use this to grab my attack energy. I'm going to use Noctowl again to use Jewel Seeker again to grab 2 more Pokemon. I'm going to grab my B-Boys, my Buffalo Boys, Buffalo, and Buffalo. So what these 2 Buffalo do is pretty much, as I said, if there's another Buffalo, then any basic colors Pokemon takes 60 less damage, which are these 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a boss order, go for the one that has energy to it, and knock it out. There we go. Yeah. This is what I like about the TCG. They just take Pokemon that just seem like okay, mediocre, or bad in the games, and they just make them really good. Or it's like unexpected Pokemon. Like, look at this Buffalo. No one remembers this Buffalo. Bash Buffalo Pokemon. 5'3", 200 pounds. Alright, come on, buddy. Select faster. what I would do here if I was him, maybe grab... Not that. Because what he's gonna do, he's gonna grab Switch. Energy. Does he have her candy in hand? Okay, that's why. Alright, I'll let him attack and then I'll explain what this guy does. Because what it does 200 and then 60 damage counters on my bench. So he's going to do 200, but because I have 2 buffaloes up, he's going to do 140 and then start spreading damage on the board. And with the energy attached, it's a 1 less colorless energy to any Terra Pokemon, and this is a Terra Pokemon. Oh! He's gonna Curse Blast me? Really? On who? Because if it does it on this, it does nothing. If it does it on this, it absolutely does nothing. Maybe the 2 buffaloes or Fan Rotom? Come on. Select. There's not that many options you can choose. Okay, he's going after my buffaloes. What's that supposed to be at 4? He has 0 cards in hand, so he's kind of at a disadvantage. What he's just going to do is probably just going to dump it all in here and then put 1 somewhere around here. Maybe meet the Fan Rotom. That was him. This guy's an idiot. Do I wanna? Nah, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna grab... Well, I could do is I could grab Pheasant Dippy. No. That would actually be pretty bad. I'm just gonna grab another buffalo. Just attack. So what Pheasant Dippy does, as I was looking at it, I'll probably put it on screen like right here, is it draws 3 if you KO, if one of your Pokemon gets KO'd. So it's going to, you know, put it down, draw 3, probably grab another buffalo, but that would probably put me in a bad position, because what you would have been able to do is bring it up, do 200 damage, put it somewhere else on the board, and then I would have to try to scavenge and try to figure out how to recover from that. So he's doing it, because he can do it. Actually, no, he can't do it, because I didn't KO anything on the board right now. So they're going to do another... Just put on the Fan Room, dude. Actually, no, put on the buffalo. Dude! What? This guy is throwing. That means I could probably end immediately after. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. So here's the funny thing. This guy's almost dead, right? 280 and 330. Penny. Pick up a basic Pokemon on board. You're dead. Easy money. Oh my god, I could end this immediately. Oh, thank god, I have so much errands to do today. Please, please, I beg you, have nothing, have nothing. Shit! No! My hand, no! I can work with this. All I have to do is literally just boss order, bring up Pheasant Dippity, I win. Place down Hoo-Hoo. Don't know what you heard. Biggest bird right there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Alright, script. Come on, Pheasant Dippity. If I was like a Gen Alpha Pheasant Skibbity. Come on. Come on. Swear to God. Okay. There's no way he has 2 energies on board. No way there's any way for him to attach 2 energies. 1. Don't do it. Oh, before this ends, A-Specs, you can only 1 run of them. They're pretty overpowered, so that's why you can only run 1 of them in your hand. Alakazam! Oh no. So what that does is it does a 160, 130. It's gonna pretty much KO one of my buffaloes, but it puts me at a... It'll put me in an advantage though. I don't know he wants to hit. Because if he hits me, he can only do up to 270? Yeah, 270. So yeah, he's going after my Buffalo. Ow. That just makes it easier for me to boss order. Yeah, because he played Roxanne, so he can't play another trainer card. Because he can only play one of these once per turn. So I just win. He literally threw. All I have to do is bring up the Radiant Alakazam and then GG's, because I only have one pressure left to draw. Oh my god. Oh, thank fucking Christ. I thought I was gonna be here for hours. So here, watch. Boom. Boss orders. Move up one of my Pokemon. Boom. Boom. Knockout. Oh my god. I am never gonna make gameplay again. Mafia 3 took a lot out of me. This has been Lounge, waiting at Slime Station. I'll see you at the next stop. Goodbye.